Whoops.
Oh shit. Hold on.
Oh god, not the clips.
Owl 2 that's on the right hand side. It says Owl 2.
Too much. Too much. Oh no.
All right, guys. Hey, it's me.
It's him, half face. Yondis.
It always looks out.
Boy.
Like, I can keep clicking the plus button, but always zooms out the first two.
Wait, why is Chad talking about
I don't know.
To help
I
us
feel
in
like
our
there was some
endeavors.
planning here.
Just gonna adjust things like that. Chat, you can tell
yeah,
me
yeah.
how they're. Yeah, I already fixed the music. I was distracted by your screaming and Messy's face.
Yeah.
Your voices should be good compared to mine now. I turned myself down a good bit. I'm gonna turn myself down some more, so we should be good now. All right. So, anyways, sorry, it was a little distracting. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? Good. Yeah.
Good.
Rena.
I was expecting you talking to chat.
Oh, actually, not Rena. Not Rena. Tyler, you got the last New Year out of all of us. Was your New Year the newest year?
The newest year.
I mean, I would say it was probably the most recent.
Okay, so the newest.
Your 2020's newer than mine. The fuck?
Yeah, because it's only 7 p.m. here on the 3rd.
I mean,
Well, 7:11 p.m. But
hey-o, time to get some pizza. So
this isn't a Wade sponsored stream, Scott.
sorry. And Rena, how was your New Year? Did you do anything exciting?
Yeah, I did. I went out. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a big party.
You mean outside?
Yeah. Walked
there-
out my door
Were there people
right when
there?
it turned midnight. Oh, midnight. midnight.
Right when it
Right,
turned to
God.
midnight. When I step on my door, it's midnight.
We got abducted by aliens and took control of their ship and was like, "This is me night."
Midnight. Yes, that's me. That's exactly how the night went. No, but
Queen
it was a lot of
Rena
fun.
now is multi-planet. It's actually intergalactic. Yeah, they're called the Renons. The
Interstellar
Yeah.
Renons.
oh,
I wasn't satisfied with just Earth, so I'm looking elsewhere.
I hear you. Interstellar. Maybe it's intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic. Messi,
I
how
can
was
only
your...
say so much.
That's right. The probe zaps you when you go too far. Messi, speaking of going too far, how was your New Year's?
So you were gonna talk about that, huh? Nothing happened.
Nothing.
He held it in until midnight and then gasmed.
I craygasmed.
Okay, well, saved
From
it a
a
little.
streamer friend of mine.
I mean,
Little
I streamed. I was alone in
At
my apartment by
11:59, I omega lolled so hard that I didn't realize it was 2020 until after I tryharded.
Anybody who was watching my stream on New Year's Eve and into New Year's knows what I'm talking about when I said he waited to gasm, right?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I
it
don't-
was
You're
great.
resident sleeper right now, bro.
It was talking about instead of like it's about climaxing right as the new year begins. That's what
Seems
it was
good.
about.
Seems good.
Seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, you got to really just edge.
I also feel like
a long
it's only going to be one person at that time. You know what I'm
What
saying? It's gonna,
face?
well, I got mine. Sorry. Like-
Well, I don't know. You never know if you're good enough. If you're good enough and you know your partner well enough, maybe you can make it happen at the same time.
I
could
mean, that's
Possible.
you might have some Molly involved. You know, like it's going to be.
I mean, I'm gonna quote the Angels in the outfield and say anything can happen.
Okay, well then.
Thanks.
Or the
Thanks for
Care
that.
Bears. Where there's a will, there's a way. All
I
right.
hope Will.
I think I
wasn't
just
involved
blacked
because,
out for that entire conversation.
That's, you know what? That's probably a good thing, Rena. All
It
right.
probably is.
And then she
Rena-
picks up a cup of like cherry moonshine. This is how I
think
stream.
it's just straight cough syrup mixed with rum.
Oh, there you go.
Codeine.
Oh.
It's just straight lean.
Because unfortunately Rena is getting sick. She said.
Bible
so
thump.
Send
Rena
a whole
does
bunch
drugs.
of well wishes her way.
That's true.
Yeah, not for me
you.
though. I like it when you're sick. You can
Like
stay sick.
literally throw coins into a well and
Why do you like it when I'm sick?
because maybe, Rena, then we have a chance to overcome you and take back the crown and the throne.
Scott, stop. Scott, stop.
There's no chance.
All right.
Even when I'm sick, I have people to help me. So.
I got the peeps.
I have the renegades.
But Rena, you have to
Is that what you're
believe in the
calling
journey.
your subs now?
What?
The renegades?
You have to
Yes.
believe in the journey.
Believe in the journey.
That's right.
Oh, it's backwards. It's my frozen blanket.
It's not backwards for us. It's legible for us.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
On New
Oh,
Year's,
it's backwards for me.
I mixed wine, rum, and lemonade, and it was the most delicious thing ever.
That sounds really good, actually.
It's really good.
How
have to
shit-faced
try
were you
that.
at the time of this mix?
Not at all, because it was what I had available to me. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to do it.
On New Year's, my nephew took a dump and clogged the toilet but didn't tell anybody. So when my daughter went pee at like 11:20 at night because she woke up in the middle of the night and flushed, it overflooded into like
Yes.
the walls and
Thank
caused
God.
like all the adults to like panic and go and start cleaning. So, you know,
Your house pulled
Oh my
away.
god.
not my house. Luckily, I was visiting.
Oh, their house pulled a Wade. Wade transferred it to you. On next time you see Wade, blame Wade.
I saw him afterwards, but I just, you know, he was already stressed out and crying about other things, so I just thought I'd leave it alone.
Oh, okay.
You know, Wade. He's a so we're gonna get back to playing the game now.
I think so.
All right, cool. So
Believe in the journey.
it's a really good movie, but I don't want to tangent.
It's so good.
I
I'm
don't
so
wanna
glad you
tangent.
liked it. Okay, sorry.
I don't want to tangent. We could talk about that movie afterwards.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, oh my god.
Wait, are we
My
talking
favorite
about-
song was the one that Anna sang after somebody.
Stop!
Yeah,
Oh my
you know.
god.
Cover your ears. Cover your ears.
I don't wanna
if you
start
don't want me to
crying.
spoil it.
Oh god, such a good
Cover
movie.
your ears, chat.
Really
Moving
good.
on. Moving on.
Really good.
So last
Listen,
time,
Frozen 2 is just the kids' version of The Fifth Element.
dude, I love The Fifth Element.
I'm trying to.
That's literally what Frozen 2 is. It's a
I
kids' version of that
I
movie.
disagree. There are no lineations between them, except for maybe one, like The Fifth
No,
Element.
there's far more than just one.
The outfit. It's the outfit, right?
Oh,
That's.
damn it.
the-
It was Chris Tucker. That's what it was, right? Chris Tucker. Moving on. So the
That's all you need to say.
last time on Dungeons and Dragons, you guys more or less kind of caught up on what it was that you had been doing for the few months prior, more or less throughout the rest of the winter and into the beginning of the spring, making nicey nice with this organization that doesn't seem to have a name, getting information from them, kind of like fitting yourselves in a way that you're like, okay, well, we can utilize them to our own ends, just like they're doing to us, right? After getting a bit of information about where potentially could be going on down in southern Adir, you also found out that apparently there was some sort of union that was going to happen between the Peredhel and the Iron Hand Monastery, which was relatively nearby to where you currently are. So at the Iron Hand Monastery, the plan was to go and disrupt a shipment that was being brought to them. You came up with a plan to not
It went
only
perfectly.
to not only go and disrupt the shipment, but to also like piss them off by delivering to them stuff that would from Peredhel, stuff that would have been better delivered to one of the biggest rivals, monastery rivals. So to make them think that Peredhel was, you know, more or less speaking out of both sides of their mouth, you know, double dealing, so on and so forth. So you went there, and unfortunately, the best path that you can do is to sneak Messi on. He drank a few potions. You guys like dropped a
What are you
tree.
talking
And,
about?
well, you just,
You're right.
you had to
You're right.
rely on
Oh.
only one instead of multiple. So you
Oh,
snuck
okay,
on.
yeah.
You snuck on, and you didn't get caught until you got caught. But that's okay.
get
When you got caught, it wasn't a big deal. It was just by a slave, like a rower. Not a big deal. You just cast a sleep spell on them, and you bound and gagged them. Again, not a big deal. Then you, even though they woke up, it didn't matter. You proceeded to do exactly what the plan was. You opened up the chest. You took all the money from it. You opened up the crates. You took all the stuff that was meant for them, and you placed in there the stuff that was going to aggravate them inside the crates. Sealed the crates back up, left the chest completely empty, and then you woke up the dude and said, all right, I'm going to charm person you and convince you to start a mutiny. Things are going to go great. And so they started a mutiny.
Don't put a we in front of that. That was Yondis. Deviating from the plan.
The singular you started a mutiny, and there was a bit of combat that happened. A small fire started because of you, and so on and so forth. And eventually, the mutineers were slain by their captors, anyways, because they were slaves, anyways, right? And you were able to get
Happens.
away. your companions weren't completely satisfied with how things played out. Words were exchanged, maybe even a slap to the side of the head by a sword or two. And
Happens.
I think that was exactly where we left off.
Yep, we were heading back to the town. I believe Rena had the bag of holding that has all the treasures and stuff in it. And we were heading back with Yondis tailing behind because we didn't like what he did.
Awesome. I will just talk to chat for just 1 second, and we're going to jump back into it. Snowell, not only is Fifth Element a cult classic, a cult classic, amazing movie with a great cast, including like Mila Jovovich and Bruce Willis and Chris Tucker and whatnot. But on top of that, it is also one of the movies that the Eberron campaign setting is based off of. So definitely check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, that's a must-see as well.
Well, we can just keep going. Usual suspects. You guys were traveling back. Now, traveling back was going to be relatively easy. You had your horses. Excuse me. You had your horses. You had the path to get there. You had all of your maps. And it's not like the stuff that you took out of there was particularly heavy because you just put it back into your bag of holding where you had gotten all the metal bars from, right? So what was the plan from here? Was it just to head straight back? Tyler, you may have just answered this and I may have missed it.
We were heading back. I never said we were heading straight back.
Perfect.
We weren't going to just... I mean, we'd stop and camp and we'd take our time on the way back.
Of course, yeah. It was multiple days to get there anyways. So that being said, with your plan to head back, because you attacked them while they were still in the river, with your plan to head back, would you want to take the same direct path back? Would you try to take a roundabout route? What's the and you don't have to decide now. It's literally one of those, your characters traveled back, probably yeeted as quickly as you could, and eventually traveled a bit into the night and then found a place to settle up camp. To make sure that you feel secure with this, feel free to roll a survival on where it was that you chose to set your camp.
Well, I was going to say Rena and I do some RP real quick.
Sure, please.
I'll just be quiet. Sorry.
Renas. Obviously, there's were creatures in our paths on our way to where we, salvaged the other squadron's mission. That group, whatever, mess with those people on the river.
Yeah, I had a run-in with those, and I'll show you like my friggin' wrapped up leg that I got mauled by one of them.
Oh, you're talking about the eels?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, I was talking about our mission, but that's fine.
Oh.
But I'll look at your egg and be like, that explains the murky, bubbly scream that I heard on the riverbank. Anyways, my question is, you're more familiar with the areas than I. Seeing as we ran into signs of the creatures, signs of Goliaths and other things, do you think there would be a much safer path? Time is of course no issue at this point in time. We want to get back reasonably, but would it be wise to take different paths or ones that you might be aware of?
I think so. We also don't want to steer too close to the Iron Guard. That's what they're called, the Iron Hand. Is that what it was? We don't want to steer too close to where they're located. I know we kind of cut closely there on our way, but I think if we can avoid that area just in case on the way back, that would be best.
Scott,
could we pull up a map?
That's what I was about to say.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we can do exactly that for you. Give me one.
No,
moment.
maps are banned.
Okay, maps are banned according to
no
Messi.
maps.
Sorry, guys. I wanted to, but Messi told me no.
All right.
Okay.
Part of what Ophios would like to do too is kind of explore this area to know it a little bit better for the future also, which he'd probably express to Rena by saying, perhaps we spend some time to find the best paths and do, some exploring. Get to know these areas. Get to know the creatures of this area. Obviously, without risking the package that we have on according to plans, stolens, but
Just gotta keep bringing it up. Okay.
want to look through as well and take our share or what we think would be good for us before we turn it in while also exploring the areas,
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't mind learning how to kill some new, different creatures if necessary as well. But
As a reminder, there are
Um,
rules when it comes to exploring. If you did want to do that, your
Yeah.
party speed, because you have mounts with you, instead of being 30 is 40. So exploring can take anywhere between 1 to 3 days to turn it from a regular hex into a green hex, if you want to. So just as a reminder about that. That's if you want to do a true exploration as opposed to just, oh, we're exploring and just kind of like look around and whatever. So just making sure you're what it was you were referencing there, Tyler.
I was talking turning some of them green to make it so we can travel that area faster if need be.
I mean, it does make travel in the future faster. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my thought process.
yeah, sure.
Because we originally had taken, I believe it was this path.
Yeah.
It was more or less that, yeah. The only reason why it looks less than 7 hexes, which is what you're remembering, is because of that. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. I was like, he looks like he's questioning. I bet that's why.
Yeah, I was like, wait, and I started in a different hex, but
Yeah, perfect. So if you guys did want to do a little bit of exploration, my suggestion, usually when you explore, you want to build exploration off of previously explored hexes. So you kind of like build out from where you already had. You can start from up here, but it does make it a little bit slower of a process, kind of like getting your foundation here, because you have no points of reference. Like
You know,
would
what do
back
you
then.
think about this path?
Yeah.
From there,
Because that
yeah,
avoids the Iron Hand.
yeah, it like goes around this like
Yeah.
mountain or whatever. I agree. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Is just to kind of like avoid them, and then
Yeah.
what
it
we
also
discover, we
includes
discover.
some bigger hills, and there's a bigger gap between the mountains, so I don't know if that counts as mountainous as well. But the area I would like to explore is probably the stuff that's rougher terrain, which is like these 2 squares
Okay, cool. If that's what you
in
want to do.
particular. If that's if Rena agrees, Ophios doesn't give a crap about Yondis right now. He's upset with him.
Ouch.
What else is new?
All right.
He will listen to him if Yondis wants to talk, but right now he started the conversation. He's not going to include Yondis.
He's not your friend. You just don't have but you still have a voice here. I mean, it's still a democratic society. He just doesn't like you.
Yeah, you're still a friend. It's just you've damaged trust.
Friend is pushing it. He's still an acquaintance. He's a work associate.
He's a friend that's lost some
Coworkers.
ground. He's a lesser friend. You know, like a lesser healing potion. He's a lesser friend.
He'll engage in water cooler talk with you, but let's be serious. He doesn't want to go over relationship shit.
Yeah, he's like a work friend. You hang out with him at work, but then when you go to have fun, you don't generally think of inviting him.
He's that friend where you're like, we should hang out, and then you never hang out.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I treat Messi.
He said we should hang out, and then Ophios responds like, yeah, totally, and then it never gets planned.
Kind of busy this weekend, but we'll find a day.
And then at the actual work social, it's one of those like you'll say, "Hey Brian," just enough to like officially have Ed said something, but then you're like, off to Jennifer. In my mind, you're Brian and you're Jennifer.
All right.
I'm Jennifer.
I'm both Jennifer and Brian.
Okay, moving on. So that first night for the actual camping out that you're going to do, could you do me a favor and roll me your survival check for kind of like again getting out of there relatively swiftly and then finding a place to camp.
Is it a group thing, or is everyone rolling a survival check?
It's a group thing, and don't forget you have advantage because this is that area where the maps were handling, kind of taking care of it for you.
A survival is a goose egg.
So if it's a group check, then I believe that's arena roll
Yeah, because I have 3.
Rena, roll.
with advantage. Nice.
Advanced.
Hi, cat. Nobody likes you. Go away. So
okay.
so
And
with
I'm gonna actually roll an investigation check, just searching the area for tracks and stuff.
Sure.
Or is that survival still?
no. The investigation would be perfectly fine inside that area, and you guys would be able to actually move down a hex as well, which is nice. Oh, are you even on? Oh, that was weird. Why did your
Why did
Hello?
sorry the
What did you do?
oh it's funny because on stream it looks like the mini is like half invisible. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just okay. That was weird. was like the mini looked like she all of a sudden disappeared, like she was buried in dirt. But no, it's fine now.
Yeah, because obviously we'd want to get away from the river.
Because don't forget, that's your party representation.
Yeah. We wanted to get away from the river because that's where we had ambushed them, and we don't want anybody following up that area. And then we're avoiding the Iron Hand because that's kind of the path we figured they'd be heading towards, which is why we're taking the roundabout way.
Yep. So you would travel down there, and you would find a place for you guys to camp out. Now, obviously, you would break up into your individual camps, and then what Tyler's doing is instead of it's kind of like one of those. All right, I'll take first watch sort of a thing, and you can go around, investigate the area, make sure everything's fine, so on and so forth. Because obviously, you traveled a good bit of time after you guys got there, did what you needed to do, and then ran off, right? So you kind of traveled a considerable amount. So when you're going around the area and investigating, that's actually a pretty decent result right there. One of the things that you did notice with your investigation is that
I would also have actively had detect magic up.
Oh, that's fine. No magic being detected, though. Okay. So what you would have noticed in the area is that there does seem to be trails that people walk on. And I don't mean like you're tracking or anything. There are very obvious trails that people are walking on. Now, you'd have to make a separate check to kind of like get a little bit more detail about them. But you definitely notice that the mountains that you are kind of like coming to be nestled between, you're not checking both sides. There's miles and miles and miles apart. But you definitely noticed, and you're kind of walking about, that there was one trail that seemed to travel from the mountain that's going to be to your northeast to the other one that's to your northwest to your southeast. And a little bit beyond, you see that there are other little trails around here as well. But you don't come across anybody. Unless you bring this to somebody else's attention in the middle of the night or in the morning, you're welcome to just roll your own survival check to try to figure out any more details about this. But do you have dark vision?
I do.
Then you can roll normal.
All right. And you said I'm rolling a survival check?
Please and thank you. Yeah. Oh, so close.
I thought it was a 20, but I was going to say Ophios would probably bring it to the attention of Rena once he returns to camp, but he wouldn't have had Rena with him. I figured he would have Rena and Yondis setting up camp while he was like scanning the perimeter to kind of cover time.
You get the impression that these trails are definitely trails that have been used over the course of who knows how many decades or centuries, because they're definitely well laid, but maybe have not been used for a long time because you're not seeing any active tracks on it or anything like that. It doesn't seem like anybody's kind of coming through, no broken branches or anything that you notice. Okay? So the next morning when you guys are kind of like waking up or whatever, you can bring it to her attention if you'd like. I don't know if Messi would be doing anything particular himself, or if you just kind of like laid back and following them home.
He would have brought it to the attention of Rena as soon as he came back to camp, whether that was night or day or whatever it was. So it'd be like, Rena's, there's trails here, well-traveled trails. Saw no signs of anyone or anything, but they're just trails around. Been around for a while. Well used.
Probably be best not to stay here for too long, just in case anybody happens by.
Or at least if we do stay, tuck our camp away hidden enough.
Agreed.
Yondis.
Huh?
While I may be upset with you still, you have your uses
still upset?
Stealth.
Thanks. Is that it? Is that all you wanted to say, or are you going somewhere?
No.
Okay. Cool.
Where do you think we should put our camp, Rena? Obviously, I'd still like to explore this area, find out what these paths are used for, but also we don't want to be discovered by the wrong kind and be ambushed. Rena, what do you think? I know you were saying something before I hollered at Yondis.
Holla.
Do I have to do, I mean, I can obviously see what's around. It's just all forested area. Are we like between mountains? Is that what it is, Scott?
You want to roll to see what was it exactly? The forested area?
just to survey the surroundings.
Oh, my apologies. So if you're talking about the actual this area, because it's kind of between the mountainous and otherwise, it'll take you 2 days, and you don't really have to roll much. It's just you're going to spend 2 days searching through the area and whatnot. Survival checks will just get you more information other than learning the region. So I'm going to suggest you roll survival. You will have advantage on it because you are going to be able to use your maps for what you're doing, and the party's going to assist you. Now,
She also asked if it's like a wooded area. Or
No, you're fine. So the region itself, it's very mountainous and rocky and whatnot. There are trees here and there, but it's not wooded by any stretch. It's more hillocky, barren, and mountainous in this area over here. Again, there
so
are
it's
trees.
quite open.
Correct. There are trees, but not like heavily wooded. Like patches here and there, you know? More shrubs and bushes.
We're probably looking for a better place to kind of hide our camp. Is that what you're getting at, Rena?
Yeah, so she'd say
But I believe
like,
right here is where you wanted to turn them into green hexes, though, right, Tyler?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
But
Go ahead,
we want
Rena.
to,
we should try to set up camp in a place that offers a little bit of cover.
right.
Perhaps behind the higher portion of the hill line or
Perhaps at the
maybe-
base of one of the mountains, there's a cave.
that too. That could work.
Something along those lines.
I can take a look around and see what I find before we set up camp officially. But
Regardless, until we know the area, we should definitely stick together.
fair enough.
Unless, of course, I turn into a snake and look like a normal thing. But otherwise, you know.
We should all stick
Send the
together,
snake
unless I
off,
choose
like-
not to.
It's okay if I do it, but you guys can't. So
You stand out as people. I could blend in as a snake. Simple logic.
How logical of the snake.
So
okay.
Rena, obviously you're going to make the survival checks to find the safer area. You're going to be spending the 2 days to turn this in the green spot, so on and so forth. And it's funny, my next question was going to be, but I think Tyler may have just answered it. I know, I assumed Ophios and Rena would be the ones that were actually investigating. I didn't know if you wanted Yondis to kind of like keep an eye on camp, or if he's, no, we're sticking together. We can all do this together. It just makes sense and it's safer.
Yeah, we're gonna stick together because once we find the
Yeah.
place, Yondis has the highest stealth ability, and
Okay.
we assist him in hiding.
Perfect. So in case something goes sideways, you can do that. Rena, could you roll me that advantage survival check to turn this into a green slot?
Okay, sorry. I was just waiting to see if it was.
Yep, you're fine. And so you do go searching through the area. You easily find the spot that I was talking about beforehand with him, where the tracks are. So you easily find the tracks. So over the course of 2 days, mind you, you easily find the tracks. But you find out that his interpretation of them is actually very far off. The tracks are old, yeah, sure, but not that they have not been used in a long time. They actually get used very frequently. It's just you believe the people that have been traveling through it just have a way to move through them without necessarily leaving as much of a disturbance as a typical person would passing by. This is exceptionally unique considering that the people passing through leave very large footprints. And I do mean footprints. Sure, there are some boots, and again, very large boots that pass through here, but many of them are five-toed footprints.
Five-toed, you said?
5, yeah.
Like a human.
Bud. Wise, Coors Light.
My God, 5 toads.
How big is is it larger than one of us, or how big is it?
Rena can put both of her feet, because she's got little feet, she's kind of a small person. If she puts her feet side by side, like comfortably side by side, she can fit within the width of their foot.
Okay, so it's not too big.
Yeah.
Meta does it look like, just this is a meta question.
Don't
Goliaths-
answer. Don't answer.
Goliath nomads.
If you had to guess, and you guys, I believe, had made heard regional information about them being in the region anyways, you believe they're the mountain men.
Okay, mountain men.
Mm-hmm. Goliaths, though, yes.
Yeah, that. Like I said, meta question. So it's up to Rena. I mean, we're with her. What would Rena say when she saw these things? And
It's nothing I'd ever seen before. Yeah, because I've come from up north, so there's no way that I would have seen these things.
You know of the mountain men. Actually,
Or do
I
I?
explicitly said that you're familiar with them because this is your region.
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
So I'd probably just look at it quickly and then turn to you and say, yeah, I definitely recognize these. They're footprints of the mountain men who live in the area. And they're definitely not to be, well, let's just say we don't want to run into them.
Trifled with? Did you forget the word?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Sorry, I was thinking trifled with. I was like, is that what she's
Yeah,
going?
I was gonna say that, but I was like, that sounds so dumb. Anyway, sorry.
Did we find a place tucked away from the trails to hide our camp?
Yeah, you
want
found
me
a
to
spot
look?
that was. It wasn't a matter of trees. It was more a matter of finding like where there's going to be a bit of like a cave cover. Not even going directly into a cave, just where you're going to have overhang rocks and whatnot that you can hide under. That makes it so people are less likely to just come upon you. You know what I mean? Or even just areas where like there might be a large rock that has a bit of a tilt to it, so you can stay down by the base of that. So not true 100% cover, but definitely better than otherwise. And you know that if you're going to be cooking food, you should probably do so during the day rather than night. Okay, so traveling.
Or just eat it raw, you know.
Okay, traveling to. We're not all snake people, Tyler. So traveling to the next hex would take you so many more hours time because again in this region even just traveling through it, not even just investigating, actually traveling takes about 6 hours. So you spend the better part of the next day after spending 2 days there doing that just traveling down to the next area. And this is the one that you kind of wanted to find a good spot, and you have tons of time left to find yourself a safe camp before you start getting really familiar for a couple of days. So why don't you roll me a survival check once again to find yourself a good area.
With advantage again?
Yep, always. Yep.
Should I roll stealth to try to hide it?
And actually, Messy, why don't you do me a favor? Because you're the one that's a little bit less focused on what it is that they're doing. You're kind of following their lead. Why don't you roll me a perception check?
Perception?
Please, no.
I'm pretty good at that, for some reason. I'm very good at that.
I thought it was going to be rolled back to that one. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, that was scary.
Rena's been going around trying to find a good, comfortable, safe spot for you guys to camp. And she definitely found a safe, comfortable spot. But you know, and it's one of those, it's getting late too, so you know this is probably where we're going to have to make our camp. It is a safe area. Despite that, while you guys are starting to like unpack your horses, probably like 3 minutes into taking stuff off of your horses, it's actually something that catches Yondas's eye. You look off to the side and you swore you saw movements. You didn't think anything much of it. You continue like undoing the horse. Then just kind of like burning in the back of your mind, you look up and stare off into that direction anyways. You definitely see movement again. Not just one person. You think there's multiple.
Did we have a fire?
No, you guys wouldn't have burned fire in the evening. Unless you
Unless
you explicitly say you're going to.
Is it getting dark?
Yes, it is. Luckily, all of you have dark vision.
Okay, cool. I forgot all parent have dark vision. That really makes things difficult to hide.
And Tyler is a parent.
Snake.
Oh. Oh wait, I forgot. I have.
I mean, I do have my little hood thing that makes me parent, but.
Quick question. Did I get my spell slots back?
Yeah, this has been days.
Yeah, we
It's
would have
like
rested.
3
Yeah,
days, 4 days later.
Awesome. Just making sure. I'm gonna use a spell.
Oh, sure.
Oh, it's a cantrip anyway. I'm gonna use message. To message Ophios that that there is a gaggle of people headed this way from yonder direction.
Ophios would simply turn to him and kind of silently whisper as quiet as he
Remember,
can.
message actually allows you to respond via the same
never
spell.
mind.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
let me put it-
he would
sorry,
just
let me put
respond
it
and
in.
simply say, "What's the hell's the gaggles?"
I can't put it in the chat because it's in my cantrips. So, oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Yeah, that.
Are they choking each other's? By the way, in his head, his voice sounds like old Ophios, so it's like, "What's the
The
gaggles?"
voice in your head has a list.
Yeah, because that's his true voice. He's worked really hard over the last few months to get rid of it in his speech, but it's still his voice.
Yeah. It's funny because in his speech, it's like much more watered down than it was.
Daelric,
yeah.
while he's responding, I'm going to quickly survey an area we can hide at and just try to find something immediately.
Absolutely. Why don't you roll me? This is going to be kind of like a group stealth check you're rolling for them. By
Okay.
yourself, so it's just a regular. What's that, Sinatra? That doesn't happen automatically for you. If it doesn't, that's annoying, and I'll gladly do it. So 18 stealth check. So more or less what you do is you kind of look around really quickly and then you see a couple of spots. You're not all going to be grouped in one tiny little area, but you're going to be within 10 feet, if no more than 10 feet apart between any two of you. And you can find some quick areas and just kind of like, get Rena's attention, gesture to one spot, wave Ophios over so he's like not too far from you, and you guys can each kind of duck to an area where even if they saw you go to there, you're at least going to have full cover from the position that you saw people watching from. You don't know if there might be anybody else around yet.
Okay, so just, I guess, I can keep using message as many times as I want, right? Because it's a cantrip. I can just keep using it over and over again?
I mean, yeah.
You can just, yes, correct. Yep, absolutely. Sorry.
Okay, so I'll just message both of them. I'll just say to Ophios, I'll say, hide there, and I'll point to the spot. Or I'll tell him, it's like, in front of you, duck, or whatever. And then same thing to Rita. I'll be like, to your left, dive in that hole.
Ophios is going to respond by saying, where's the peoples? Perhaps we set an ambush.
It's too late. I'm already hidden. I'm not responding.
I
have to point to you. See, the problem is I have to point to you to respond, to do it. But I'm hiding. Yeah, but I'm hiding.
You can still point if we're hidden.
Yeah, you can definitely point.
I have to see him, right?
You can literally. You don't have to stick your whole arm out to point.
It literally says the spells goes around corners and whatnot. So if you know he's on the other side of so if you're on the other side of this wall in front of me, I can just point at that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'll respond, and I'll tell him the direction of the people I saw.
You have 25 words, so yeah, feel free to speak. Go ahead.
Yeah. What direction was it?
So this is you actually saw them in the region to the actually you said it correct, southeast of where you are. Mm-hmm.
Southeast.
More actually east, but yeah.
Southeast east.
Ophios is going to turn into a snake and use Misty Step in that direction.
As a snake?
Yeah. I technically would still have my arcane source around me. So.
Could you do me a favor? Pop Misty Step into chat for me, please.
If it has an S, he has to do a sign. Oh,
yep. No, he's good because he just has to go.
Oh, that's hilarious. You can Misty Step as a snake.
Yeah. Actually, he Misty Steps.
Wow. And Rita, are you hiding or?
Yeah, I'll just hide wherever you kind of gestured towards.
Okay.
I turned into a snake and Misty stepped higher on the mountain towards the southwest.
Why do I feel like we need to get Tyler one of those obnoxiously large stuffed animal snakes?
Hold on, we got to do the normal thing.
Oh no!
No!
Oh no! This is so much worse.
This is the best.
Hi, Ophios.
Ophios, you're southeast.
Nice.
So Ophios, southeast. Can you head that way?
Yes.
Go ahead, slither that way. Here he goes.
Oh, God.
He's swimming.
Oh Lord, he coming.
He does lose his armor because his stuff does not transform with him, so he slithers out of his armor. Correct.
Technically, the amulet of protection, if my power stone stays with me, and my Naga scale should all stay.
What do you have in?
So certain things like that would stay, and obviously you can summon and desummon your sword as well. But yes, your armor would slither off, and your backpack, but all that other stuff that is linked to your body, yes. So you start.
So my AC is still a 20.
You start slithering in that direction. Now, could you roll me a stealth check? Nobody's really expecting a snake, so I'm going to give you advantage on this one, Tyler.
No one's expecting a snake. No one expects the snake.
I won't lie. I was totally getting ready to call him out for Tyler, where'd you go? When he used that hand for the mouse. No, he was ready for it. Oh, awesome. So you start slithering off into the direction that he said. Now, you easily are able to slither there. You don't hear or notice anybody kind of reacting to this. When I say you, I mean you specifically. What's your name? Yondas. You don't notice anybody reacting to the fact that the snake just slithered off. Now, you can also toss
I can still see them.
No, I was going to say, so you don't notice any reactions. Any obvious big movements or anything like that. I was actually going to say, I don't know if you want to toss a message to Rena, but you are welcome to roll a perception to look up in that direction, kind of continue surveying. But I'm going to warn you, if you don't want to get noticed, you're going to have to roll at disadvantage to try to be as subtle as possible.
I think I'm just going to
roll a perception check to see if I can see them.
We're going to get to you in 1 second because you're going to have a much easier time than them.
Okay.
I'm absolutely just going to stay hidden and trust Ophios is hiding currently and not a snake on the hill.
Okay.
Ophios is smart, right? Oh god.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
So
Yeah,
do you-
maybe.
He can easily go back to the spot. So
Yeah, and give away our position. Nice try.
he'd be turning back as a snake and then turning back into himself.
Tyler,
hidden.
where'd you go? I can't understand you without reading your lips.
Okay.
All right.
So,
My arm's getting tired.
I'll
I'm
do
sitting on the
perception
floor.
with disadvantage.
so you can do perception disadvantage, and you're gonna stay hidden, of course. So you're looking around in the area trying to see what's going on. You unfortunately don't notice it. You don't notice Ophios turn into a snake and slither off. You don't see what it is that you guys are kind of hiding from. You were never truly informed of what it is that you're hiding from. You just know that clearly something's up. How do you want to react to the scenario? Do you just want to sit tight until somebody kind of informs you? Do you want to check things out?
I didn't notice where Yondis went at all.
You notice that Yondis kind of like pointed into two different directions, kind of like ran off. So you like saw the area he went to, but you also know Yondis is very good at being slippery. So sure, you know the area he probably immediately went to, but who knows if he's even in that area anymore, you know? For all you know, he could be right behind you being like,
Hey, stop!
like some Hey Arnold stuff,
Ugh.
you know?
Oh my god, yeah.
Hey Rita, what's up?
What the? Oh god. Anyway, so I'll just kind of keep my eye on the area that I think he's in and look, I guess, directly opposite to that, because that's where I'm gonna assume is kind of what we're looking at. I'll just keep my wits about me, pretty much, but I'll stay where I am.
Sure. So more or less looking off in the region that you're hiding from, which makes sense. Okay, cool. And you're going to sit tight. Now back to you, Ophios, because they're just kind of sitting tight. You start slithering off into that direction. Obviously, not directly there. You're being smart. You're able to do a good stealth check. You're kind of making a bit of a roundabout, but getting up into that region slowly and carefully. Eventually, roll me a perception check as you're trying to investigate things yourself.
Just normal.
Please.
Sorry, I had it on advantage, so I wanted to make sure. That's perception, right?
It is. Wow. So you start slithering off into that region, and unfortunately, you can't pick up the tracks of anybody. You don't smell anyone. You don't see any heat readings of anybody in the area. Whatever it is that's up in the that's hiding, they're hiding pretty well. Or maybe Yondis was mistaken, and there was never anything here in the first place.
I promise you it wasn't that one.
Ophios is gonna keep looking.
Okay, so you're gonna roll me another stealth check as you're continuing to move around in the area and try not to get noticed. Rena, since you already liked the idea of looking, you're welcome to roll another perception with disadvantage.
Okay.
Yondis, you're gonna sit tight some more. Stealth advantage, perception for you, Rena, disadvantage. Messy,
I'm sitting tight.
sitting tight. Okay.
That was
I'm not done.
oh crap! That's a really bad stealth roll.
Okay. So, Rena, you once again still noticing nothing. Minutes have passed, and unfortunately, nothing. Yeah, I know dice are disappearing off of my my other things.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, what's this called?
Roll 20.
Yeah, roll 20 on Firefox is being weird. So, wow, Firefox being really weird. There we go. Just trying to fix things. Okay, so you, Rena, unfortunately continues to notice that minutes have passed, and you've been sitting here, trusting in your friends, and you've known them for a long while now, so sure, but nothing. Ophios, you're trying to slither around. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is you end up slithering into an area where
That didn't work.
Oh, ouch. But hey, you have two left. You end up slithering into an area where, because you're so focused on trying to find those creatures, you didn't realize you ended up slithering over into an area that happened to have a couple of a wolf pack, like a small wolf pack that's there. So all of a sudden you're just slithering through. All of a sudden you start to hear, and you kind of look in the direction, and you notice that there's one wolf that's growling at you, and then it's slowly starting to stand itself up, gets the attention of the other wolves, and another one starts to slowly stand up, looking at you, growling. The first one now is getting on that whole, bowing down, the hair on the back of its, the fur on the back of its neck, and all the way down to its tail, extending up. It's baring its teeth. It's like, as it's clearly noticing you there, bringing attention to the region. Rita, you hear it sounds like growling in the distance, but nothing you would pay attention to, because there might be wolves in the area. It doesn't, they're probably just hunting. Doesn't matter. They're not close enough that you're really alarmed.
So they're just kind of off, so
Yeah.
I'm just all right, just kind of noticed it.
Yeah, you're a woodsy gal. You're not too worried about it.
No big deal.
Ophios?
How does Ophios feel about fighting wolves as a snake?
A pack of 4 wolves could be lethal for Ophios as a person, let alone as a snake.
All right.
You're
He's
dead.
going to try
4
and
wolves.
leave there and just keep watching behind him to see if they chase. And if they chase, he's going to try and Misty step back to his spot.
So you're just trying to like back away without
Can
being
snakes
attacked?
slither backwards?
Yeah, they can.
No, snakes can do all sorts of cool things.
Okay.
He'll be in a
cool.
defensive position as well, so he'll be in striking position as he slithers backwards.
You're not a standard snake, so you have 2 options here. You can try to intimidate them to get them to back off, like, or you can try to, like you said, slither backwards, calmly, gently, try to be non-threatening so they leave you alone, in which case it's the animal handling check. These are dogs, not snakes, so you don't have advantage.
I'm going to do intimidation then.
Absolutely.
So I'll hiss and strike, like snap at them and be like, "This is my turf. Get the hell away." That's normal, right?
Correct. And so you do exactly that. You hiss and snap and whatnot. And so once again, I'm going to allow the 2 of you to roll me normal perception checks down where you are. But for you, Ophios, you're successful. You actually do hiss at them enough that even though they do start, like 3 of them in total start standing up and moving around, you hiss and snap at them and back up enough that they don't follow you more than like a step or 2. Like we're talking, they do not start to give chase or follow after you. It's literally more of a defensive threaten to like back off. And you listen, they listen, and things end amicably. So you're able to back off. You once again, you 2 roll me that perception check, please. Normal. This is Rena and Smessy. Yeesh.
Oh, yeah.
Dark
Perception,
vision's
right?
a little fuzzy today.
Neither of you guys can notice anything happening in the woods. So this leads it to you. You now need to roll me a perception check there, Ophios, for your own backing away and just trying to like gather your senses again in the area.
Do I get disadvantage then, or?
No. You're finally kind of like, okay, I'm secure. So this is, again, time has passed.
All right, so just a normal roll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it rolled nicely for me.
Eventually, searching around, you're able to find not, unfortunately, what it was that had found you or been watching you. But you do find the area where they were. Kind of like looking off, looking around even further, finally finding your place your way to the place that Yandis had gestured towards originally. You can go over there and see that obviously people were set up here beforehand. You can see
normal-sized people,
large people, very fresh footprints on an area that would have been like a good vantage point or a ledge. More than that, not only do you see this vantage point or ledge where they're we're watching you from, because you can look down and clearly see the areas where they're hidden down below. It takes you a moment to realize which rocks they are because it's a different perception for you, perspective for you, but you do see that. Also, looking up the mountain further, you see that there are probably other ledges where they could even potentially be looking down to where you are right now.
Is it a survival check to check for tracks?
Yep, it is.
So matter of
Do
fact.
I get advantage because I'm in snake form and I see infrared?
No. Normal.
All right.
And snake form doesn't give you infrared. That's just played off as your dark vision.
Okay, that's fine.
We describe it slightly differently. So anyway, survival check. So you do, like I said, notice those footprints there, and you definitely notice them start to walk up the mountain. Even just trying to follow them a short distance, you end up losing them. It's hard to keep track. They do walk very lightly, and the ground here is often hard, leaving very little areas to leave tracks.
I'll go to what I think is the correct direction, keeping my wits about me, looking about frequently.
Sure. When you eventually get yourself up to the area, like I said, you notice other ledges up above. You eventually bring yourself up there. Before we continue with that, the 2 of you, it's been about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes since you first kind of came over to these areas and started hiding. Do you either of you say or do anything, or do you just continue sitting tight?
I think I'd probably try to make my way towards
Downtown?
the area where I think I know. Towards the area where I think Yandis is probably hiding. So I can get closer. But I'll try to do so quietly.
So you make your way over there. You can roll a stealth check if you'd like. If you're
Make
concerned.
her roll perception to see if she trips over my armor pile.
That'll be part of the stealth check. Yundis, roll a perception to
check?
see if she sneaks on you.
Yay.
Normal.
Yep. Both of you normal. Neither of you are normal. You know what I'm saying. Oh, you notice her just as she comes around the corner. Like you hear like a little bit of noise right as she kind of like comes up to the area that you're hiding on, allowing you to kind of like look over and you can like look at her expectantly as she comes around the corner.
Expectantly.
I'll just kind of
He goes, I've been waiting.
turn right around and go back. I'm just kidding. No, I'll just say, have you noticed anything?
Arm's getting tired.
Oh, and Ophios has been surprisingly quiet since this all happened.
I don't think he left, do you?
And Daelric, I'm gonna get up and look around.
You go over to the area where I told him to hide, and it's one of those, you don't see him there. It's like, damn it, maybe he moved. And as you walk over, you end up like kicking like, you know, his helmet or whatever it is that's there. And it's like, not like a big clang, 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 but like a little like you tap it with your foot and you're like, oh, shit. He's a snake.
Well, wherever he is, he's naked. I'll say that's Arena, just to make that absolutely clear that I was speaking to Rena there.
I'll just nod and say, so he's a snake.
Should we take this with us, or you think he's going to come back for it?
We should probably take it.
All right.
Like, gather it. I still have the bag of holding, right? I could just put it in there.
Of course. Of course.
Okay,
You
I'll
guys should
put
do
it all
what
in
you
there.
do with your friends go skinny dipping in the beach.
Honestly, most of my stuff, if I
Throw them
wasn't
away.
wearing it, is in my haversack. You could just throw it in my haversack.
Oh, is it sitting there too?
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't take that.
I guess I could just do that then. But no, I can't because I can't put that in the bag of holding.
You can't put the haversack in the bag of holding, but you can carry the haversack.
Okay, I'll just put his stuff in the haversack and take it with us.
I'm just now imagining Ophios being like, I've got to take a shower. And he like turns on the shower and then he like turns into a snake and slithers in. And like tail shuts the door and naked now. So anyways, you guys notice that he's gone. Do you try following after him at all or do you leave it be?
I mean, there's no trace of me. I misty stepped. I teleported.
No. We don't need a squinting snake in Tyler's place. What we need to get Sinatra Girl is him a sock puppet.
A sock puppet.
Tyler, do you want me to
He's gonna get a sock.
Tyler, do you want me to have my daughter make you a sock puppet? Or googly eye. Something tells me that's a freshly dirty sock.
Yeah, I hope you weren't wearing that.
Are you gonna eat pizza with that hand?
Is today pizza day? Oh, shit.
I didn't prepare for pizza.
I had
okay.
pizza.
No, too late. Not pizza
For
day.
reference, I do have one missing sock now.
Tyler, if you would like, I'll have my daughter make you a sock puppet, and we can mail it to you, so it can be from Rory with love.
That's cute.
So, anyways,
I don't have a snake. I could just have a snake plushie.
or a snake plushie.
That was a weird echo.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I fixed it.
Wait. Okay, so moving on. Was that Messy's voice? So, you guys are. My apologies, Rena. Did you say you can sit tight?
I would just say we should go after him now, and
My
he'd
arms
probably
are
find
tired.
his way back to us.
Okay, we should not go back.
Coward.
To it, right?
Yeah, I would probably ask Giannis though. I think I think whatever's over there is probably gone by now, but it more than likely could have been the mountain men.
The who?
The mountain men that I mentioned earlier.
The mountain men that live in.
That live on Drury Lane?
What are they, like dwarves?
Yeah, the opposite.
You were there when we talked about it on our way to the river, yonder.
Messing with her, Tyler.
I know.
How dare you?
All right, I guess we should track down a snake and hope we get the right one on the first try.
You've
I would
seen
know-
me as a snake. I'm a giant snake.
I don't remember what you look like. Oh yeah, you are big. That's right.
Well, I would know, right, that there's no snakes in the area, or are there?
In the area? There are definitely snakes in the area. Of his size? But
Let's definitely
snakes in the
alright.
area.
Let's
Okay.
hope that the first giant snake we find is Ophios.
Yeah. Ophios, come here, buddy. Ophios! I already said sorry. Does anybody feel
I don't
poisoned?
understand why you're so upset.
I have an honest question. Would Ophios have noticed anything since this is his first time turning into a snake since he applied the Naga scale? If that would have changed anything.
Oh.
Because he has the Naga scale in his forehead. I didn't know if that affected that.
No, it would just be that
Forehead.
same area in your forehead would have like it's a bit of an area in your forehead would be a color pattern change. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be quite that same rainbow pattern that you were talking about beforehand. It would match more the other creature, right? So
Okay.
So Ophios, we had you roll last to get up there. You noticed the ledge and you started getting to the ledge. Once you get to the ledge, do me a favor, roll me a survival check. Because when you get up there, you notice that there is nobody there at this ledge looking around. But immediately, of course, you start looking and trying to see if you notice anything. You notice that the tracks are more new, but you don't really notice anything beyond that.
All right. Ophios will kind of... how far away would I be from camp at this point, from the spot in which I misty stepped?
You can actually kind of like turn around and like slither up the ledge a little bit and look down to see how far it is. And when you look down, you can see that it's, I don't know, a good drop. So much so that like you can't really see it because it's nighttime and you're using starlight and dark vision to look down. But I mean, it's because you remember it was getting dark before, right? So so you can't really see the exact spot. It's a distance, several hundred feet, you know, but mountainous feet, you know.
Yeah, so I can't teleport to my spot because it's not 30 feet away.
No. These are ledges you're climbing up to and whatnot. Now, one of the things I do want to say, Tyler, so if you just roll me one more check, please. Can you just roll me a perception check?
Mm-hmm.
Why is
It's a 10.
this being so weird? There we go. I don't know why it's being so weird. My apologies. So with a 10. So with your 10... Just actually, I rolled a 4 and a 3, so you definitely beat me. With your 10, as you're looking off the ledge, looking down, you hear, and you hear like a breaking of branches and whatnot. As some definitely large and heavy sounding people start swiftly coming up behind you.
Oh, so they know I'm there already.
What do you do?
I'm gonna quickly
jump the ledge. How far down is it? I don't care.
Snakes are actually pretty good at slithering down slopes and stuff like that, so I would probably try and climb down that slope in my snake form.
So without even looking behind you, just gonna immediately just trying to like yeet out of there?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cool.
Basically act like a snake would.
Absolutely.
Because a snake would not turn and look and then go. It would be like instinct. I'd go.
So why don't you roll me a athletics check? Well, that's actually a decent roll. Are you happy with it?
I'm gonna modify it.
Sure. That's really good. So you are able to slither down the cliff. I mean, this isn't graceful. It's not like super graceful. There's like little areas where like the back end of your tail is a little too heavy, so it kind of like flops, and the front end of your tail has to slither super fast or kind of like grab onto things to stop you from going down. But you're moving very, very quickly. It's just there's little bits of falls and whatnot. You're clearly trying to get away from the noise that you heard beforehand. But you were able to move quickly, and that was the most important thing, to get away. You don't believe anybody's following you. Pretty quickly, you can get yourself down to the bottom of the ledge where you'll be, safely hidden.
All right, but not back into camp.
But even my apologies, all the way down to camp 2 if you would like.
All right, he would slither back to where he was hidden before, to see if his stuff was still there.
Okay, so you would be able to get all the way there. You notice that your stuff is missing, but you would also pretty quickly notice that your friends are missing too.
All right, what do I roll to find them?
It won't be very hard. You guys are kind of already setting up a camp not too far away, so just like looking around, you would eventually be able to find out where it was that Rena had moved them away from to hopefully be a little bit more guarded. This is the last check I really need from you guys for now. Rena, roll me one more survival, normal. Just try to find a place that maybe you're not going to be observed from.
Wait, I'm not helping? That's fine.
That was you helping.
I'm gonna stealth.
That was me helping.
Sneak up on them. That's me trying to sneak up on them.
I mean, it's going to be against their passive. No, they don't roll. It's going to be against their passives, and that's definitely going to be their passives. So, because they're not actively like looking for a snake.
Well, what if those people are coming back, huh? Oh, snakes, yeah. Well, it is a giant snake.
You know what? Honestly, Rena would be setting up camp, and Yondas might be looking. So I think Yondas would just barely notice you as like one of those, as you're coming out, Yondas like look over and see what you just heard last second coming out. And Yondas, you do see a big fluffing snake.
Oh. If you're Ophios, say something.
He'd just start turning into his naked self and say, "Give me my armors."
Oh, here, Reno.
I'll hear Yondas like shout and just turn around.
Put the snake away.
Like, oh, and just throw him the haversack.
And then when he
would get dressed and have his shield ready and say, "It's the mountain men's."
That's what we figured.
Huh.
From what I could tell, maybe's twos, maybe's mores. They spotted Smees, and I, didn't spare to look, just rans.
They noticed you?
As a snake's, yes.
Did they follow you?
As far as I knows. Don't care. Didn't want to dies.
How far away was this?
The ledge up there's, and he'd point in the general direction of where he just came from.
I'm gonna look and see if I see some giant people chasing after the giant snake.
You guys actually don't hear or see anybody coming down the ledge. It seems like you get the impression that maybe they were doing the more observing as opposed to looking to take action.
That's fine with me.
Well, it doesn't seem like they're chasing after us, so I think we're fine to stay put for now, but we shouldn't stay too long.
What do you know? I'm just kidding. Is it nightfall?
Oh, yes, it is nighttime. You guys should spend the night. Your plan is actually to spend the next 2 days searching around this area and get familiar with it, unless you change your mind. You can just continue traveling back, or you can spend 2 days searching the region.
Ophios would want to stay. He would say,
11-11, make a wish to the people on the East Coast. The best coast.
Wish for a fish and a pile of
So Ophios would say,
dishes.
If they did not chase, perhaps they just wanted to know what we were up to and not hunting them.
Are Goliaths smart? Are these giant mountain men intelligent? That was for okay. Let me, Rena. Are these mountain men intelligent creatures?
Would Ophios know anything about the mountain men based on his?
You wouldn't really know. Rena, you would know they're sapient. So while not the most educated, they're just as smart as you or I could be.
Yeah, I'll just say
dumb.
I mean, it's as smart as we are.
So really stupid. Okay. No.
What are you trying to say, Yondas?
Are they aggressive people, or do they tend to keep to themselves?
They can be, if provoked. But
does a giant snake happen to provoke giants? I feel like it wouldn't. I think we're all right.
I think since he left, that we're probably okay. But if he had stayed or tried to intimidate them, then we might be in trouble.
Perhaps we should keep watch. Yondas, firsts? Questioning, looking at him.
Sure. I can get some practice in before sunrise, so yeah. Are you okay with sleeping while I play, or do you want me to be quiet?
Ophios will just kind of get ready to go to sleep. After glaring at Yondas, like, the best thing to do, he would say, the best thing to do when's losing trusts, not tease. And he'd go to sleep.
I'll just say, I'm a heavy sleeper, so.
Okay, cool. I appreciate the answer. And I'll keep first watch.
He stands inside Rena's tent, leaning over her, playing the ballad.
Stop. Oh yeah, I
Toss a
forgot about
coin to
that.
your witcher.
No, it would be more like ding. Rita's this in tune. Ding, ding. Sounds like it's out of tune. What do you think?
Toss
Ding,
a
ding, ding.
coin to your serpent, the one that explores.
No.
I was expecting that.
It's love from the East Coast. So the best coast. So you are going to stay awake and just kind of keep an eye on things tonight. You can make me one quick perception check, Messi.
I'd love to.
All right, do it then.
You notice nothing.
Oh.
Hours passed, and we can just
No.
kind of make it through until the next day. And you guys wake up in the morning, and even looking about here and there and trying to see what's. You don't see anybody seems to be tracking you, following you, watching you. Nothing. It seems as though if they are aware of your presence where you are, they're giving you a wide berth. Rena, today marks the day where you're going to continue searching around. Why don't you roll me that survival check with advantage as you guys can continue to search the area and get familiar with it.
You know who else had a wide berth?
Ophios is gonna actually walk up that mountain towards the spot where he saw them.
So you as part of this like exploring the area, you guys definitely can go and check out those ledges together. And so as you're doing that and checking out the ledges, one of the things that you notice is exactly as I was describing beforehand, it seems to be accurate. That first ledge definitely overlooks the valley below. The second ledge overlooks the first ledge. The third ledge overlooks the second, first, and valley below. And once you get up to the final ledge, is the fourth ledge up, you happen to notice that not only does it look down to the previous three ledges in the valley below, you realize this valley area down there is definitely the easiest way to travel through in here. It's like this is a perfect vantage point for either spying on or ambushing anybody that might be traveling through the region. So, certainly something good to note if you ever need to utilize this tactic in the future. One of the other things that you notice as well, kind of coming up, spending days survival check, is that it's actually pretty easy to loop up from one ledge to the next to get there pretty quickly if you need to for the vantage down below. But at the same time, it leaves people in the ledge down below completely exposed to you. So while it is a quick walk there, you have almost no defenses against the people above. So it's kind of like playing, I don't know, Donkey Kong, and you're trying to get up to the big douche of the barrel, you know?
Can I actually investigate further on that top ledge, looking about to see if there's any like encampment or anything?
Why don't you roll me investigation since we're already survivaling everything? Mm-hmm.
Darn.
So your investigation up there does tell you that there definitely is, camps that might be set here. You can actually see like a small little ring of stones where somebody might have like a smaller fire or whatever it might be, but it looks like it hasn't been used in an extended period of time. And while you do find a random, footprint here and there, like you kept describing beforehand, there's no real indication as to how long ago it's been since they've been here. Past several days is the best you know, even though you believe it's probably last night. They seem to be really good at covering their tracks post coming through, if not just really careful while they're actively there.
Ophios is going to use prestidigitation to mark the stone, focusing on it and marking it in a way that is the insignia of the town that we came from. And hopefully having say
Ursina?
Ophios. Huh?
Ursina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And say seek Ophios if peaceful.
Does Archimark allow that many words to be printed? 5e always confuses me with that one.
It's prestidigitation, and it says it's a
magic. Gotcha. But it lasts only up to an hour, I believe.
Correct. I'm not like marking it.
Gotcha.
But the idea is, as we're leaving, he's going to mark that there. And then he'd probably use it again in the sky to like send up like a flare or something like that.
Okay. Not a problem. So you kind of like set this thing here or whatever, and you guys continue with your trekking along for the rest of the couple of days. Once again, you notice that there is trails that go from one side of the mountains, one mountain to the other. Nothing really, anything else. You do find that there's good lands around here for like say where there's naturally a flock of like goats, not a flock, but a herd of goats that are in the region. Cool, in case you need a food or whatever. But beyond that, after that whole day, you then spend the next whole day, and you don't seem to notice that this goes beyond anything I've already described 100 times. So you can finish the region. Occasionally, be honest, you will catch a glimpse of people that seem to be watching you, but nobody seems to be acting upon the fact that they can see you. Not a single person has done anything whatsoever. Okay.
Would Yondas say anything to the other two?
Sorry, I was testing something. My mic is fucking up on me. So does it sound okay now? It sounds fine?
It sounds fine.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay. Okay.
I think it may be a hair louder than you were, but you more or less you notice occasionally people seem to be peeking at you, but not acting upon it.
At me?
Your group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
The royalty.
That's normal. That's par.
Perfect.
Would you tell us? Is what I asked.
No, I don't think so. It's normal.
Yep. Okay. So you just don't make them aware of it. That's fine. After 4 days spent kind of investigating the area and getting super familiar with it, do you guys then just start heading back to the town?
That would be Ophios's plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so you guys start heading in that direction. I'm going to need from you, Rena, one more survival check with advantage. Beautiful.
Good rolls.
One of the things that you notice as you're coming through town, and actually, it's funny, I was giving you advantage, but getting there was the first roll. The second part of it was actually taking your second roll for the second part of this. It's like, ooh, can she get more? One of the things that you notice as you're heading back to the town, and it's a multi-day trek there, is you actually come across a couple of tracks that weren't there before. And not too much you think. I mean, this is the region there's people living and people walk through. No. These look like these might be soldier tracks. More than that. Kind of like bending down and investigating them further. You can definitely see the boot prints and the way that they walk. There's definitely some soldiers here, very likely Peredhel, but 2, 4 at most. But there's other boot prints walking with them as well. These are a different type of boot, different type of imprint that they're leaving. As a matter of fact, you don't believe that even necessarily a boot. The easiest way to describe what it is that you're seeing is it looks more like maybe wrapped, like cloth covered feet, because there's not even really a shoe there, not a heel or a sole, but it's a very strange looking sight. But there's definitely people traveling through. Most importantly, it looks like they've patrolled the area recently. We're talking within the last hour.
And that's just on the way into town?
This is not quite to town. This is actually
not to town.
Yeah, this is a multi-day trek, so you're probably still another day and a half away from town.
Oh, got it. Okay.
We can move this over to the map so you guys can kind of see where.
Called to the group. Yeah, I want to see the map.
Yep, that's fine.
Map. I would tell you guys.
She's like, I would tell you, even if other people wouldn't.
We should head.
Not like that.
Perhaps we should quickly head to town. Beat them theirs.
Would risk running into them on the way. It might be better to hang back a bit.
We could keep exploring and then go in when they're done.
If you look at where you currently are on the map there, Yondas, you're actually a good bit away from where you were exploring not too long ago.
Yeah. We could explore this place, is what I meant, Daelric.
Sure, it's up to you. So he's saying explore, she's saying hang back. I don't know if you were looking to lay low or just hang back in general. And you were saying let's just run in and not get caught.
Yeah.
Actually, I agree with Yondas. It might behoove us to explore this area.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
It might behoove us to explore the area.
No, the first part.
Oh.
So based on that, Ophios would then side with both of them 2 against 1. He'd be all right, whatever. And we'd camp. During camp, Ophios would talk with the group if we can set up camp safely and not get.
Yep, that'd be fine. Why don't you roll me a stealth check for setting up camp in like a.
I'd love to, Daelric.
You did.
Do I get advantage?
No, you have disadvantage just because you asked. Who do you think you are, Tyler?
I was gonna say we would
Roll-
probably be
roll normal.
assisting him.
How about this? How about I do a disadvantage roll, but then we take the highest number?
No, you roll normal.
Okay. It's not terrible.
Nope, not bad.
That's my average.
Kevin is lost in space. We're unable to find this page. Weird.
Who's Kevin?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I was adjusting something on Streamlabs and it said Kevin lost in space.
Kevin went missing?
Yeah, Kevin disappeared.
He's
Kevin,
missing.
no.
I don't even know who Kevin is. But apparently he's lost.
Well,
All
he's
right.
gone now, so it really matter, I guess.
There you go. All set now. All right, I'm listening.
So did we safely make camp? I was waiting for your judge on the stealth check and stuff like that.
Oh, my apologies. You make your place a relatively hidden place, trying to keep lie low and whatnot. Once again, you're not going to be burning any tents, fires at night. You believe that you're going to stay hidden.
Ophios is going to kind of gather everybody and sit down, and he would say, perhaps if this is who I think this is, we should circle around town and come in from a different directions.
Who do you think it is?
I have a feeling it's Peredhel and the monks.
Oh, great. More reason to not go into town then?
No, perhaps good reason to look like we came from a different direction. Of course, if it's them, it best be that we be there to protect those that have aided us.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So if we come in from a different direction, they wouldn't suspect, perhaps, that we came from the rivers. Perhaps we could act as if we came from north.
Addersfield?
Well, I was
Zatishk?
saying Zatishk.
Yeah.
Come in from that direction.
Okay, coming from the southwest. From the
How
main
many-
road. Okay.
How many days would that add, Scott?
From you said which direction? The southwest.
It would be going to here
yes.
and then here.
Probably 2 more days.
Another 2 days might not.
Honestly, maybe
Be
we
too
should just
bad.
go. Maybe we should just go straight in and try not to get caught. Yeah.
Like you can
Well,
try
that's,
to
it may
that's what
be-
Ophios just said before we tried to camp.
Yep. Well, you were saying. I think you were trying to like yeet in there, and I think he might be suggesting stealthing in.
Something a little stealthier, yeah. Not just fast and
I
furious.
think we
just
could
eating
stealth
them.
in from the other direction. I think that's the better choice.
What if we split up and went in staggered and met up somewhere? Split the party.
I was just gonna say.
Split the party when combat
the
might
party.
happen.
Yeah, that's the Ophios would probably would say best if we stayed togethers. If they interrogates us separately, perhaps stories wouldn't line us up.
I'll just turn to Giannis and say, why don't you take charge on the plan for this one?
Okay.
Ophios is literally looking at Rena like he almost like his jaws half dropped. Like, what the hell are you doing?
His job
And I'll
dislocated
just-
to follow a hamster.
I'll just kind of do like, it's okay. Like, towards him. Like, I'll be like, what do you think the best way is, what best way in would be? Stealthily.
Well, they're all parents, so going in day or night wouldn't make a difference. Well, they're not all parent, but there are going to be parent. If we go in during the day, it might be more plausible that we're just traveling. Whereas if we go in at night, it might raise a little bit of suspicion. So how about first thing tomorrow morning? We'll just walk in there and
Play it cool.
play cool.
I still suggest we go a roundabout's path. And of course, we should probably look into the bag and get rid of the things we don't need and pick the valuables we want.
So it's up to me then.
Regardless, I would still like to look into the bag. What treasures may lie, as they asked that we take some for ourselves while also giving the majority to them.
We're not strangers to this town, so it wouldn't be a surprise for us to be entering in the morning.
The difference is who's going to be in control of the town and whether those people that are our friends will be captured.
But there's only, what, 2 or 4 of them, you said, Scott?
You notice 2 to 4 soldiers and other feet.
How many other feet?
You weren't able to quite tell because the tracks were a little funky.
Well,
he didn't roll that high. He rolled high, but not that high.
Maybe it would be best to wait for them to leave. That way we can deny. That way they won't find the evidence because the evidence is on us.
Not wait, but come around the other side.
Well, which way are they going to exit? They're going to exit out that side, right?
Exactly, but they would be less suspect if we came in from a side away from where our action took place.
And if we run into them there?
We walk in like travelers.
Maybe we stash the evidence somewhere outside of town? That way, if they do search us, they can't find anything.
And how would you go about that?
Some kind of landmarker we bury the bag under? Or something somewhere we can hide it, like tie it up in a tree?
It's Jewel Goldstein was buried here.
Do I know about Tyler, do I know about Ophios's like thing that he can use to
Can you swallow it?
call forth like a an item?
Suppository, all the gold coins.
You're talking about my ability to literally spawn a weapon. You saw it happen in the prison.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, sorry. Never mind. Because I'm trying to think of another way to.
So, the options are.
Okay.
Go around town.
The options are is we're taking my plan on this.
Make our way around town.
Your plan leaves us high and dry without the treasure, and also, or walking in from the direction we just came from.
We can just go get the treasure.
We know the town
Pending
well enough.
that somebody wouldn't look where we just freshly dug and be curious along this beaten path and traveled roads.
Then we don't bury it. Or we bury it off the beaten path.
Who's beating paths?
You are, Daelric. This is your land.
He's out there just with
the
the
Dale
path,
lands.
Bad path! Clean your room!
So we know the town well enough to maybe know like some, I don't know, places and areas that are not as visited.
Or to the guy who gave us the horses.
Yeah, I would ask Giannis, like, do you think it'd be possible for us to just stealth our way in there and then stay hidden?
Let me think.
Stay hidden is what I'm asking you about.
No, I'm not going to go with that yet. I don't think it'd be hard to sneak into a city, especially one as busy as this one.
And
this is not a big city, is it?
I was sarcastic.
Yeah. Ophios is still going to protest and say, my plan's the best plans. And he'd stand up and walk away. He'd stand up and walk away, kind of pacing off in the distance, really irritated that nobody's listening to him. And the fact that Rena literally just asked the person that kind of ruined our last plan to give the plan.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna, once Ophios walks away, I'll walk over to Giannis and say, look, this is your chance to just kind of have that whole mission blow over.
So you're telling me this is an opportunity to make things okay with the snake?
Yes, and me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave the decision to you.
Don't fuck up.
Hey, backs out of the room.
Okay. What's your decision there, Yondis?
Hold on. Give me a second.
I want to hear your decision before we go to break.
Go to break and then we'll have a decision.
No, because we'll go to break and we'll come back and you'll be like, I haven't made a decision yet. We'll spend 10 more minutes. No, make a decision before break.
I want to. I don't want to make a decision.
What is the path, Yondis? I mean, you must be the worst at video games. Oh, do I use the light side option or the dark side? I don't know.
Daelric,
I don't
typically, Daelric,
know.
when I'm playing a video game, I get to do what I want.
This is literally you get to do
No,
whatever you want. And she even said the party
there
will
will
go
be
along with what you
repercussions.
want. Yes, there's always repercussions.
I can just save the game if it's wrong.
You can save the game, all right. Yep.
All right, Daelric, I want to save the game right now.
Okay. Data file saved. Oh, cat spilt water on it.
No, the fucking cat.
Corrupted.
All right,
Your
new
PlayStation
game.
1 memory card is broken.
Did somebody just save? I was going to
New
make
Game Plus.
a porn saved over, Disney tape kind of reference, but don't worry about it.
I want to cast this spell. All right, so I'm going to put my foot down and say that we're gonna go in the back in the morning, the direction we already at.
All right, final
But not
final
waste our
answer.
time.
So you're going to go, my apologies, say it one more time, go to the back.
In the morn,
Yep,
when the sun peeked through the trees,
thank you.
We're
we'll
gonna
make
just
our
walk
way
straight
west,
into town. That's
directly into town.
So you're going to go, are you going to yeet in? Are you going to walk casually? Or are you going to
Just gonna
sneak
walk
in?
casually. I'm just gonna chill out.
Okay. We'll be back shortly to see how that plays out and how happy with it Tyler is. Bye.
Can't make him any more.